News this morning, Governor Fubara says plot to ruin Christmas for civil servants failed. Martin Amaewhule-led assembly criticized for repealing another state law. Human rights group slams Rivers community for parading women naked. Tax reform bills scale second reading in Senate. On the foreign scene, Sweden asks China to cooperate over severed cables. Mental health is real. Seek help. End the stigma. I am Ifeemi Andrew. The news continues shortly. State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says an attempt by his detractors to make the Christmas bleak for civil servants have failed. The governor said this during the Armed Forces Emblem Appeal Fund launching on Thursday. He reiterated his administration's resolve to continue to put Rivers people first.
Some persons who have decided to be enemies of the state wanted us to experience a dark, or what I say, black Christmas. But because we're determined to make sure that the interests of Rivers State should be the first thing.
The governor said his decision to suspend the employment of 10,000 civil servants was to concentrate on the employment of professional workers.
We had two sections of employment, and one part of it is the main civil service employment, which I suspended because the number of people that we employed were not needed anymore. What we need in Rivers State is professional engagement. We have teachers, we need doctors. In one part of the state where you employ 10,000 civil servants, admin and all those things, it will not help the growth of the state.
Governor Fubara, however, promised to lift the suspension of the employment of civil servants in the state. He also spoke on the scholarship for Rivers students.
Employment. We're going to go to the general one later. On the issue of scholarship, the Rivers State government has not given the scholarship board any approval for scholarship yet. But there are some scholarship programs that we do. We do in PAMU. We also did recently Wigwage University. So if it's those ones, the process of selection, the Rivers State government has no hand in it. You have to pass the exam, be in the list 1 to 150. It's not because you wrote the exam, automatically you are qualified. There are processes. So if they didn't fall in between that number, they should be patient. When we start our own internal one, maybe the criteria might be different.
Governor Fubara also announced a donation of 40 million naira to the members of the Nigerian Legion Rivers State Command. Rivers State Commissioner for Transport Collins Onuwo says development of the maritime sector by the Fubara administration is on top gear. Mr. Onuwo disclosed this when members of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria Rivers Commercial District paid him a courtesy visit at his office in Port Harcourt. He explained that the state government recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Asiji Marine and Oilfield Service Limited to provide enhanced maritime services. The Rivers State Commissioner for Transport says the Fubara administration has acquired 6 gunboats to support security agencies in tackling safety challenges along the waterways. Earlier, the state chairman of the Maritime Workers Union, Amesenobo Israel Pepple, stated that the union's readiness to collaborate with Commissioner to enhance maritime operations and ensure secure waterways for seamless commercial activities within and beyond the state. Mr. Israel also commended the governor for transforming the maritime sector. Meanwhile, former Rivers State lawmaker Tamuno Sisi Gogo Jaja says the decision of the Martin Amaewhule-led assembly to repeal the Rivers State Commission of Inquiry law is an attempt to assume executive powers. In an interview with our correspondent, Dr. Gogo Jaja, who is also a former commissioner, said the governor does not require legislative approval to gazette and implement the recommendations of a judicial panel of inquiry.
In a sane society, no government or no executive or no legislature will even attempt to share executive powers with the legislature. So whoever they are attempting to protect, it will be an effort in futility because first is they are not known to law and they lack the capacity to amend that law because they cease to be members of the state assembly. And they also lack the constitutional power to share executive function.
As you may know, the Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly recently passed the Rivers State Commissions of Inquiry Bill 2024. It comes 8 days after the Justice Ibiwengi Minakiri-led Commission of Inquiry that investigated the destruction in some local government secretariats ended its sitting. Recall that the Commission of Inquiry was set up by the governor to investigate the destruction of some secretariats and of some local government areas after the October 5 local government election. Several persons were invited by the Commission of Inquiry, including the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and some of his allies, but they did not honor the Commission's invitation. Moving on. The traditional institution and leadership of Emo community in Abua Odwa, local government area of Rivers State, have been criticized for allowing some community members strip and parade a woman naked in the community. Videos shared with our correspondent showed the middle-aged woman being held by another woman with her hands tied with a rope while being paraded by a small group for alleged stealing. Condemning this, the Rivers State Response Team on Violence Against Women and Children said the act violates the Rivers State Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law 2020 and the Dehumanizing and Harmful Traditional Practice Abolition Law 2003. Coordinator of the group, Dombari Dumkakote, spoke to our correspondent while addressing a meeting of survivors of gender-based violence in Port Harcourt as part of activities to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. He regretted the level of destruction the community had caused the lady and her family. He vowed that the state response team will take legal actions on her behalf. The theme for this year's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is Unite to End Violence Against Women and Girls. It started on Monday and will end on the 10th of December, which is Human Rights Day. Still to come, tax reform bills scale second reading in Senate. Stay tuned.
Hooray! It's happening.
chairman of Ichie local government area, Uzodinma Nwafor, has directed all tippers operating within roads in the area and those loading sands to stop operations from Sunday, 1st December 2024. Dr. Nwafor, in a letter signed by his Chief of Staff, Jude Njoku, also invited all tipper operators for a crucial meeting at the Council Secretariat Okehi on Monday, 2nd December 2024 by 10 a.m. He said the meeting is to interface and discuss operations and commercial activities within the local government area. He said the directive is compulsory for all tipper drivers, as any defaulter of the directive would be banned indefinitely. The chairman of Auda West local government area, Iyeko Ikporo, has presented over 4.3 billion naira as supplementary bill for 2024 to the Legislative Council. Presenting the supplementary bill before the legislative arm of the council, the Auda West Council boss pegged the current expenditure at over 2.3 billion naira, capital expenditure at nearly 2 billion naira.
I think it's a very good initiative to help the poor, the needy, those that can't pay their bills. And I really know that we are going to achieve our main aim and purpose of being here. God will finish it for him and also bless him and take him higher in Jesus' name.
I'm here today to take the free medical care.
We apologize for the mix-up in that audio. We'll get you the correct one in subsequent bulletins. The Auda West chairman assured that all 12 wards in the local government area would experience the direct impact of the budget.
This budget will be very practical after its passage in all the 12 wards of Auda West local government. And the projects staying in the budget are projects that will touch the lives of the people in our various communities that will be affected by this budget. I want to thank this house, the audience, and the good people of our West government area for the opportunity given today to serve us. Thank you.
In his remark, the leader of the Legislative Council, Buduka Ayuboko, said the process will align with principles of due process and accountability, while the stakeholder, Inimet Karibo, said the action of the chairman is an indication that better days are ahead for the people of Auda West. The chairman of National Union of Local Government Employees, Nolge Gokana Chapter, Akbobari Zarakbege, has commended the chairman of the council, Monday Dumie, for the prompt payment of salaries and commitment to workers' welfare. Speaking to newsmen, Mr. Zarakbege applauded the chairman for the renovation and remodeling of administrative offices at the council secretariat.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the Executive Chairman of Gokana Local Government for the prompt payment he promised the staff of Gokana Local Government. As I went due 28th of every month, he has paid and we have received. They say may God bless him and continue to strengthen him to do more of him. Also, we will not fail to appreciate him and urge the staff of Gokana Local Government to grace coming Peace and Unity Call that is coming up on Sunday that the chairman in question have programmed and embark on Monday 2024. We also want to use this opportunity to commend the chairman for the renovation and the model, the finance department, the administration, and also the Noge office.
The Noge chairman also urged the people of Gokana to attend the upcoming Chairman's Peace and Unity Cup football tournament, Mon Doom 2024, scheduled to take place at the Gokana Central Stadium on December 1. Nigerians have been urged to hold law enforcement agencies accountable if they take the law into their own hands. This call was made by facilitator Clifford Onwayanwu during the 2024 International Capacity Building Conference, ICBC. The conference was organized by the Institute for Research, Leadership and Capacity Development in collaboration with St. Thomas A+ Becket University, Canterbury, England, Nigeria chapter, and the Directorate of Training and Capacity Building at Ignatius Ajuru University of Education, Professor Onwayanwu. He spoke on the topic, Doctrine of Criminal Innocence, a critical survey of the accused, treatment during trial and before conviction.
We should no longer be tolerating the police when they take laws into their hands without respecting this doctrine of criminal innocence in the criminal justice system. There should be penalties if they violate it. It should not just be left like that. If they neglect the doctrine, there should be consequences. Police and other law enforcement agents. Now, we have also said that the judiciary must stand firm in upholding the principle that the doctrine of criminal innocence represents.
The Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Onuchukwu Okechukwu, was represented by the Acting Registrar of the University, Chinonye Abraham Ajie.
This topic has far-reaching consequences in Nigeria. If you sit down here and listen to what the resource persons will teach today, I know you will never remain the same in your offices. There will be a change in your thinking. This program is going to reset our thinking so that we can do the right thing at the right time in our various offices. I used to tell my people, what you need to do in an establishment organization where you are working is to improve yourself through training, workshop, conferences.
The Chief Executive Director of the Institute, George Ahunanya, and the Director of the Directorate of Training and Capacity Building in the school, Ikem Adiele, both addressed participants.
Your life will never remain the same after this conference, because by the time we would have spoken to you, you would have every cause to reset your mindset and agitate your mental capacity, ready for transformational leadership.
And I wish that our people would leverage on this to improve their performance on the job. It is true that conferences like this, you may not get everything, but it is better for you to be patient, listen, and get as much as you can grab from the conference. Put them on your job list. You'll be shocked what you will get here when you go back.
Elsewhere, Nollywood legend and academic Sam Dede has called on Africans to reclaim their narrative in the face of globalization. Speaking at the 10th Kurukuru African Roots Renaissance Roundtable held at Wigwe University in Isiokpo on Wednesday, Dr. Dede, who is the convener of the roundtable, said Africa has become a mere spectator in a global order that undermines its values and identity. Themed globalization, the new world order, and the hijacked concept of Africanism, the event focused on reawakening African consciousness and inspiring transformative action. Wigwe University Vice Chancellor Professor Marwan Al-Akaidi backed the call, urging the continent to develop Afrocentric solutions to its challenges. Speakers at the event, including Dr. Tayo Isijola and Professor Kalu Wonsu, highlighted the need to redefine globalization to preserve African dignity. They challenged young Africans to move beyond the limitations of colonial legacies. Participants identified poor leadership as a major barrier to Africa's progress, urging reforms to position the continent as a global moral and technological leader. The event concluded with a student-led drama exploring the impact of globalization as attendees pledged to take action in reshaping Africa's narrative. In other news, the Senate passed the 4 tax bills for second reading through voice votes on Thursday. Catch details of this and more at the Business News at 7.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Sweden has formally asked China to cooperate with an investigation into damage of 2 cables in the Baltic Sea after a Chinese ship was linked to the incident. The cables, one linking Sweden to Lithuania and other linking Finland to Germany, were damaged in Swedish territorial waters in the Baltic Sea on 17th and 18th of November.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard that Governor Fubara has said that a plot to ruin Christmas for civil servants failed. Martin Amewule-led assembly has been criticized for repealing another state law. Human rights groups have slammed a Rivers community for parading a woman naked. The tax reform bills have scaled second reading in Senate on Thursday. On the foreign scene, Sweden has asked China to cooperate over broken cables. The news was edited by Choma Ezenwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808 721 7215. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Thank you for your time. Good morning.